My name is Erin DeRubis. I am the new treasurer at Minnesota PTA, and I'll just walk through this filing the 990 training. Um, just and then at the end we'll have time for questions. So we can, I think, go to the next slide. So the 990 is a form that does need to be filed each year. It's due the 15th day of the fifth month after the fiscal year ends. So all Minnesota PTAs should have their year end on June 30th, and then you would have taxes due November 15th. So that is coming up in a couple of weeks here. Um, there are different forms depending on your gross revenue. So I believe most PTAs would be in that less than 50,000 range. So that would be the simple 990, and we'll have more information on that in the slides ahead. The 990 EZ is if you have gross revenue between 50,000 and 200,000, or the 990 is over 200,000. This is very important to do each year because if you don't file for 3 years, you lose your nonprofit status. And then PTAs do have their nonprofit status through affiliation with Minnesota PTA. But you need to use your own EIN number. So not ours and not the schools. If you have any questions about how to find that, let us know. So the IRS does have a form online where you can file the 990N postcard for free. So there's no need to pay to submit if you're in that under $50,000 range. This shows just a screenshot of what that looks like. If you go to the IRS page, it just has that simple button to submit the 990N. There is training specifically for the 990N on our website. I have a link here for our new treasurer training, and I can pull that up at the end of the presentation as well, just to show where that resource is. And it does walk through each step of that process. But it's the postcard is pretty basic. It's just making sure you get the right EIN number in there, checking the box that your gross receipts are under 50,000, and just verifying some contact information. So the 990 EZ is kind of the next step up. So that's for organizations that have between 50,000 and 200,000 in gross revenue. Now the typical, I believe it's a 3-year average. So if you just barely cross 50,000 over 1 year, it's probably not going to push you up into that easy. But if your 3-year average is between 50 and 200,000, this is the form you should be filing. It will ask for a group number, and that group number for the individual PTAs associated with Minnesota PTA is 0870. And this needs to be filed online using an IRS authorized company. So there's a list of those, one of which is the file990.org, which we've used in the past. Once you have filed, regardless of which form you use, you do need to submit a confirmation on givebacks. This is in the compliance section of givebacks, and you can just submit a PDF showing that you have completed the 990. You can see the due date is November 15th, which is the day it's due to the IRS as well. If you do need to file an extension, this is the process for that. There's a form online. One other important compliance requirement for a nonprofit is to file with the Attorney General's office if you meet one or more of these criteria. One is collecting over $25,000, one is hiring paid staff, and one is hiring a professional fundraising company, such as a fund run company. So if you meet any of those criteria, there is an annual filing with the Attorney General's office. And I believe that is due mid-January, January 15th. And there is a penalty if you fail to file annually. This is just kind of what the form looks like when you go to file with the Attorney General's office. Yeah, that's fine. You can. This shows again if you need to file an extension for that form. There is a process for that as well. And we do have many resources on our Minnesota PTA website for treasurers. We've actually done some recent updates that I hope to go through in a future training, but take a look. There's a lot there. If you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me, Erin D at Minnesota or mnpta.org, or Amber at mnpta@mnpta.org.